Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Neda and Shiva, welcome to the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're so happy to be here.
I cannot wait for this conversation. This is a first for me. I have not had a mother daughter duo, and certainly a mother daughter duo that is not only pressed with the large task of creating a safe haven for healing on the internet in the digital age of 2025, but they've done so in a manner that is really going to impact and change a ton of lives. And I'm so thankful today to be able to share your story and your mission and give everyone a little bit of a sneak peek into what you guys have up your sleeves. But I would love to first just have you guys give a little bit of a rundown of what exactly Soltopia is and how it came to be.
Sure. So, Soltopia is a passion project of both of ours. It is a new way to connect online. It is set to truly transform the way that we interact with each other in a digital space. It is a space that we. I'm sorry. Can we do that again?
Sure,
I'm sorry.
sure. And don't worry, you're doing great. Like, just let it flow. You know what it is. Don't just let it flow. All right,
Okay.
ready, go.
Okay. Soultopia is a space that is set to redefine and reimagine how we connect on a digital space. Beyond it being a platform that not only nourishes and supports people, it's a space for us to really connect, to take off our masks, and really just communicate our heart's desire. Oftentimes, I find it really hard to do that. Everyone I talk to finds it really hard to truly put their mask aside and connect on traditional social media platforms because of how performative they are, how competitive they can be, how it's more of like a competition of material goods, like how good I look or what vacation I've gone on. And oftentimes, a lot of people who crave connection end up on social media to either consume content that gives them a little bit of a break, which in turn doesn't actually do that. It actually ends up hurting their nervous system, hurting their brain, even hurting their mental health. And
Mhm.
what Soultopia really is a place to find support, to uplift yourself, nourish yourself so that your everyday life is better, not worse. It's to add to living rather than escape from it.
Love that. It really does seem like, and by the way, guys, it hasn't launched yet, so don't you haven't missed out. You're actually going to be at the very front of the line here to get to interact with Soultopia. But I love so much your mission of almost taking away the power from the negative impact of scrolling. Oh, I'm so sorry. One second, ma'am. No, thank you. No, thank you. Lay down. Hey, lay down. It's enough. Enough. No, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, ready, set, go. I love that it is your mission to take away the power of the negative scroll. I think once I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in. Whatever it is they're here to talk about, I need to hear because there is such a negative toll in so many different aspects of scrolling and mindlessly scrolling. And I love so much that you guys took into consideration that we do live in a digital age. It is quite impossible and a big ask to try and take healing out of a digital realm entirely. So I find it so inspiring that you guys just leaned head first and you're like, you know what? We're going to carve out a space where we can heal, we can help others heal. And not only that, but kind of take away from that negative screen time. I think it's absolutely a space that I can't wait to spend some time. You don't often find yourself finding many positive things on social media accounts these days. And it does oftentimes just add more dread to the plate of what is already a difficult time to be alive. So I just thank you guys so much for taking this on. It feels like a big mission, but I can tell that because of kind of what you've been doing up to this point that led you to bringing this together, that you're the perfect people for this. I'm sorry. One second. Whew. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm going to start with my background and I guess how Soltopiah came about. So I come from a line of ancestors who were healers and holistic healers, and not just like physical doctors, but real healers. And my spiritual awakening started a decade ago when I had two near-death experiences.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so it's and that's another detail that we can go on another episode. It was intense, but it was nothing wrong, not an accident. It was just in the middle of a party. All of a sudden, I felt like something was going on, and felt like a heart attack, but it wasn't. And I just feel like maybe it was an awakening because I was on the wrong path. So I guess I have that blessing of getting those signs to me a lot. So, so during that time, both of the time, there was a core message that was given to me, not once, but twice, that there will be a time. First of all, they said, this is not your time. So, and believe me, I didn't want to come back. It felt so loving. And it was just like, why would I want to go back? This is amazing. I want to stay here. But once, I was pushed back into my body and, and I tried to make sense out of things. And so much information was coming to me. One of the core messages was that there will be a dark time that humanity has to face, and that there is a mission and a calling that I need to be part of. And, I would question and I would say, wow, this is going to be so hard and so forth. But other messages that was coming to me, that it says 100,000 earthly angels will help bring the era back to light. So this is not just me and Neda. This is a beginning of a larger movement. And believe me, Sarah, I have been through so much in my life, and I've learned to just have faith and take the first step. And I know that everything just comes into place. I've learned that. And they've tested me over and over again to make sure my faith is strong. So after that, this was about a decade ago. And so then I went on in building businesses. I've built very successful, few successful businesses, one being a global software company. And from there, it's just, very busy and so forth. About a few years ago, I keep getting messages and signs that it's, time is coming. You need to step into your mission. And I was so busy. There was so much going on. And obviously the pandemic was happening and everything was out of the whack. And I was just like, no, this is not the time. I need to take care of people. I need to take care of the businesses. So I kept ignoring it. And until it came the time that I experienced true pain, seeing my daughter being disconnected and going through a painful time, and I almost lost her to the darkness of social media. And that was the time it was a true awakening for me. And yes, I understand there's so much like, the business and all of those things, but I had to stop everything and to be able to come and be able to help my own daughter, which there were so many tools and things that I knew about, and I had to step in and bring those tools to her. And the blessing was that we were very fortunate that Neda was able to take those tools and she ran with it. It wasn't that I would tell her what to do. Like in the beginning, I was trying to do the traditional way and it was backfiring. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, I have all these tools that was given to me. And, back then, nobody even knew what meditation is. And I was teaching meditation. Nobody taught me. It was just the spiritual realm had taught me how to do it. And so I started slowly bringing into those tools, and Neda took those tools, and I'm going to let her continue the journey after that.
So before I resume where Shiva has left off, I'm going to give a little background of where I come from, and for all my life, as long as I remember, I've always really been so intrigued by spirituality. I've always found myself asking the existential questions of what is the meaning of life? Why am I here? The questions that like a child, childlike curiosity really exacerbates. And I found myself always pondering these things. I was very grateful for my family. They really immersed us in various religious and spiritual practices from a young age. So I had this well rounded exposure, which really enabled me to navigate my own way. And this even led me to be certified as a Reiki healer at the age of 10, which is really uncalled for, but this is just to show how deep rooted this path is for me, how deep rooted spirituality and living with like purpose and being heart driven is to me. But, big but here, social media was introduced into my life in middle school. That's when Instagram came out, Snapchat started, and things really started to take off in the digital world. And me being so young and so excited that all my friends were on these platforms, I joined. My parents were a little wary, but at the same time, they did allow us, they did try to support us with discernment and like, be careful, don't do this, don't do that. But, as a teenager, as a young one, you do still tend to get into some darker sides of social media that we all just know and accept to be a part of the package today. For me, I really began losing myself to the trends that I noticed the people around me embodying. I really wanted to feel accepted with my peers. And I'm sure, middle school and high school is definitely a time of playing the chameleon a bit and feeling safe and accepted around you, because teenagers can be quite mean at times. So I like completely like rejected this like deep rooted identity of mine, which is spirituality. Time passes and my mental health really started to decline. I lost myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. My identity revolved around mirroring the people around me, pleasing the people around me. And I really just allowed so many people and things like algorithms to walk all over me. Seriously. And my heart goes out to all the people that experience what I have experienced and I still navigate to this day. For me, it reached a breaking point. My mental health declined to a point where I seriously could not see myself continuing. I was so unwell, I had to take a break from college. I had to take a break from life. And I just did not know how I could remove myself from that state of mind. I could not see myself like living happy again, being joyful, being goofy the way that I truly am. And it wasn't until these tools that my mom reminded me of that really the basis of them was nervous system regulation and subconscious repatterning, that I really, as she said, I took it and I made it my own. And that realm opened up to me, and I really was so called to continue my education in this work. So that led me to get my bachelor's degree. I'm currently completing my master's in metaphysical sciences. I got certified in Soma breath work, learning how to regulate the nervous system through breath and really tap into higher states of consciousness through our breathing, which is so profound. And I also got certified in integrative trauma therapy to support people psychosomatically in processing their trauma. So, and I'm not done with my education as I continue to learn and grow my toolbox to be as well-rounded as possible to support myself and other people. And I really repurposed my pain, and I'm using it to support others who have gone through my pains. And during this time, my mom and I have really been trying to support our community. We have done breathwork events, we've done meditations, workshops, trying to educate and support the people around us. And I was also, alongside this, looking to social media. And just to preface, I have done lots of cleanses from social media, taken lots of breaks, but it's not sustainable. The world is evolving, and the digital world is something you cannot ignore anymore. And I just saw a lack of true connection, a lack of true nourishment in traditional social media. And I really wanted a place where I could find people like me who are on this path, who want to connect for these reasons, who want to step out of the brain rot and the trends that we see today and really want to create something different. But these spaces just did not allow for it. There's so many other distractions, especially with this algorithm that really drives content that keeps us in that state of endless scroll. You're just not going to find a piece of content pushed at you that enables you to find presence to get off of those platforms.
Yeah, and as you see, Sarah, it's like our background and what we went through really guide us because we experienced it firsthand. It's not something, oh, this is missing. We truly, the pain and suffering that we went through it, and being able to, bringing that background of what we had gone through and kind of combining it. And even up to this date, sometimes I say, wow, why was I pushed into the business world? And now I understand. I mean, there's sometimes, how something happens to you 10 years later or 5 years, you're like, oh, you get that aha moment. Okay, that's why I did that. And there was a time that I was so immersed in the physical world and all the businesses, I had lost myself. But now I know that I felt like I was being prepared for something bigger. Because now with the background, the software design, engineering, all of that, I didn't know that I was being preparing for something bigger and that calling, because I was always wondering, going back to that message and that I got, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with it? Right. So, and that's where our background comes into what we
And
have
we looked at like my past, her past, what we've been through together, and our unified true desire to make a great difference in this world. In fact, like ever since I was young, we would laugh about how like one day we're going to do something like this together, but we had no idea what it was and how it was going to happen until we were like, you know what? The digital world needs this. This is missing. And we know exactly how to put it together. Obviously, it wasn't exactly clear, but like we had clear action steps to take. And we were like, we're just not going to wait around for some big corporate company to try to make this and it become just like the rest of the platforms we see today. We didn't trust anyone to uphold that space with the utmost integrity to do so.
Yes. Oh man, so much to be said. First, I find it so just aligned that, one would think, like for you, Shiva, to have a tech background, and at the time that you had it, it was this very big melting pot of just so much advancement happening so quickly. Like apps were becoming a thing back then. Like you got in at the right moment to be able to just know how everything started. And I find it so fascinating that you didn't know where or what direction you were going to go in. But the fact that, like, Neda, you were having such a hard time just trying to exist, and we can do our best, but as you said, we do have to interact with digital every now and then, at least a couple of times a day for various reasons. But for the only reason that you went in this direction to be to help your daughter first and foremost, because like of course as a mother that's going to be your first and primary focus. Like you're depressed and you're in a terrible space because of this thing that we can avoid for now until you get stronger, but we are going to have to navigate this. And to come up with the solution of creating a space that's going to be able to help others, especially, I can see it being a beautiful space for younger people and parents just being like, thank goodness there is this place that we can put them into that feels safe. Because, I don't have children myself, but my age group, I'm 40, their kids are playing Fortnite and they're having a lot of really dangerous interactions on these games that they thought were safe because they're children's games. And outside of the safety factor of adults and children commingling in these online spaces, they're also just being presented, as you said, Neda, with just so many things that aren't for a kid to see, let alone take on as something they should be striving for.
Mhm.
It's like it's very backwards. It seems very backwards to give children access to this. And you're among that first generation that grew up with these things at your fingertips. Like I got Facebook as one of the first universities when it was only for colleges. So like, and I'm 40, like it's taken the last 20 years for this to evolve, but you're 23, 24. So you grew up amongst all of this. And I have to say, it rings pretty true that, as someone that's been connected to spirituality since you were 10, I find it really amazing that that's around the time you, Shiva, were feeling like you didn't know what you needed to change, but something did. And it almost seems like, the generational curse that entrepreneurship can be for some when it isn't rooted in intent and healing and like coming from a place of boundaries and still living your life while also building businesses. I really love that, you disconnected from that space and pivoted towards something that is not only beneficial for both of you to build for yourselves, but you are going to be cracking into that mission of being able to get, those 100,000 earth angels like on this mission. No easier way to do that than a little angel to tap someone on the shoulder in the Apple app and be like,
Yeah.
www.soltopiah.com.
But you know what? And I feel like people will feel the energy because this is beyond just me and Neda. And it's a divine intervention and it's going to happen. And so much beautiful love and the energy is going to be behind it. So we're really excited.
Yeah, and not only that, what you said regarding intent is so important. And you mentioning Fortnite is great example of something that is meant to be for kids, for them to play, is actually so detrimental to their health. I mean, all first person shooting games is cognitively detrimental to children, especially children being so like vulnerable. Their brains are growing. Their neuroplasticity is at the highest it'll ever be. Their subconscious mind is so open to suggestion. Their identity is being created. And unfortunately, there are no spaces online for kids to really explore more nourishing content. And if there is nourishing content out there, like
there is
YouTube,
algorithm.
There's an algorithm that pushes content that will cause a certain reaction, whether that's anger, whether it's like to distract you. It's never to really nourish you. It's just to keep you on there. It's just to make some money from your attention. And for kids, that is dangerous. I am grateful that I was among the first generation to be introduced to social media because I had a childhood of like going outside and playing and having to like find ways to entertain myself. It was taken away from me. But I worry for the generations of children that are growing and developing in the environment right now and how a lot of people are truly not aware of what is going on. I recently learned of a study that was actually done in 14 different countries all over the world regarding screen time and doom scrolling. 2 hours of doom scrolling or more reduces the gray matter of our brain. And this is so alarming to me because it's something that is so new. We have very little studies coming out because there's so many big companies that profit off of our lack of knowing. And so we were so alarmed and we're like, you know what? Like enough is enough.
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
Yeah.
It's
also, I think, so fitting right now to create a space to slow down. I think we really neglected. I think there was a shift about, I guess COVID really brought us like to a place where we're like, whoa, we're like going at rocket speed here. We should disengage. We should all calm down a little bit, cool our jets. And then I feel like we're in that shadow period now where people are like, all right, I'm calm, but like I'm still anxiety ridden. I still feel like I have no purpose. I don't know who I am. I don't have any self love. I struggle with making connections with people because I don't have connections with myself. Like, I think the time and the reflection space that COVID provided us during the pandemic was great because I think it started to plant some seeds for people to show them just not only how disconnected their mind and body are, but they don't know what's up, what's down, what's good feeling for me, what is, anxiety feeling for me. Like, I think so many people are just getting to know that whatever it is they do feel every day, they don't like it. They would like to grow in a different direction. And, I find myself going on Instagram, going on YouTube to look for these healing tools, which then only puts me right back into the pipeline of that social scrolling drug that I'm ultimately trying to avoid. So to me, it seems,
Exactly.
yeah.
I feel your pain.
And not just
Is
that,
there a
I
moment
just,
where you,
oh, sorry. I
oh no,
just
go
wanted
ahead.
to add
There's a
on to
little
what
delay.
you're
Go ahead.
saying. Okay. Um, a lot of people, you mentioned, people are feeling calm, but they're also feeling a lot of anxiety. That is a side effect of a burnt out nervous system that is also desensitized and almost like, from a mental health perspective, you are burnt out. You are burnt out. You are unable to fully feel your emotions because your nervous system is on haywire. So you can't even sit in your body and identify, this is how I'm feeling, and it's because of this. And it leads us stuck in these cycles of going on social media, getting lost, getting stuck, or even in the middle of the day when you want to take a break. I do this myself, even with all the knowledge I have, and I definitely work on it and I have some boundaries, but I notice when I take a break, I sit down and I just want to just naturally go to Instagram or go to TikTok to get that instant dopamine flood. But I find myself stuck, and when I come out, I don't feel good. And that's just not fair to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels almost like
And
you're
I just,
trespassing against yourself a little bit because you feel icky when you're done and you're like, "Ugh, why did I do that?" You're like, holy crap, that was 30 minutes. Where did I go? Like, what was I doing that whole time? Um, I would love to know, like, you have a couple different avenues within Soultopia. How do you see, walk us through like what it is to engage with Soultopia? You have the Mindful Hub, you have the Soul Center. I just love all these different areas that you've created because it really does set the tone immediately for people to kind of, it's like, it's a digital space, of course, but you've almost created like a threshold for them to step into and kind of like immerse themselves in. So, can you tell us just a little bit about what Soultopia is going to feel like and what these different spaces within it are?
Sure. And I love that you said that because that was really what we were going for. We wanted the user experience of our platform to be stepping into a world, like a complete world. Like, we really wanted that fully immersive experience. And so we have two centralized hubs in Soultopia, being the Soul Center and the Mindful Hub. They are siblings to each other and they work beautifully together. The Mindful Hub is where you will find curated content for greater support and nourishment. This is where you go to learn, to grow, and to be nourished. And the content you'll find here is created by our Soultopia guides, who are vetted holistic professionals who have all of the tools and knowledge that you need or anyone needs to better support themselves. They are here to empower, they are here to support, they are here to nourish. Beyond that, in the Mindful Hub, we also have an area where if people crave greater support, they can book directly with our guides. If you find a piece of content that you really connect with, you want to learn from this person one on one, you can go and you can schedule a session with them and they can give you that deeper support that you're craving. Not only that, there's other spaces and other features we have that I'll keep a little bit of a secret so people can go and explore themselves. But Mindful Hub is it was really inspired by my mom and all the tools and support she brought forth for me. And the Soul Center is really my baby. I really desired creating social media reimagined for the soul, a safe space for people to connect and really express their innermost desires, their heart, rather than expressing what they think people will like or what they think will make them look better, to build like a identity that's not even truly true to themselves.
Or putting a mask when they're there. It's not their true self when they are present there.
Yeah, and that's really what we want the Soul Center to be, a place for you to put your mask down and really be yourself and connect with other people who want the same thing. If you don't want that, please, by all means, stay on Instagram, stay on TikTok, stay on Snapchat. We want to create a different way to connect online. And so we have taken some things out that we all know and love, but we've kept some things in that we also know and love on our traditional platforms. We've put the emphasis on expression through voice and text. And we also have two different ways to express and connect on the Soul Center. We have Soul Talk, which is a very intuitive way of expression. You feel something in your heart and you just want to express it, let it out. You just put it up there and upload it. Anyone on the app will see it. You're not your follower or your friend. Anyone can see it. And so it's a lot less pressure because anyone who uploads, it'll immediately show up on Soul Talk and your followers might not even see it if a bunch of other people post. So it gives you that freedom to really express yourself. We also have structured communities where people can create private, public communities. It could be a community based around poetry, based around motivation. It could be about animals. It could be really anything anyone wants, just a more structured space to connect and meet other people who are like-minded.
Love that. Ugh. You've literally covered every base. I think it's I love
And
I
believe me,
talk to
there
a
are
lot of
some
people, right?
surprises we haven't even talked about. That there are so much more we haven't even talked about. You know how there is, like, when a movie comes out or a book comes out and there's a series, and there's so much more that we haven't even covered, and that's going to unfold as things, as we go live and slowly things come in. And really just imagine for yourself, even, let's say you have a channel, right? And you want to communicate with people, but the algorithm is pushing you away unless you do a certain way or certain marketing or being an expert. People are not going to know who you are. So in the noise, you're going to be disappearing. So what we are creating is for people that are truly amazing and have those healing power and they can make a difference. We want them to be heard. Just because they don't have marketing expertise doesn't mean that they should not be there to help people. So this is without algorithm, and you're being set forward to for the world to see you, and having that channel without the algorithm, and for people to be able, like, let's say your podcast could be a community on Soltopiah that you invite everyone to come, because by the time they want to come and see you on YouTube and Instagram, they're going to be taken away by algorithm, and they may even forget why they were there in the first place, that they were coming there to see you. 2 hours later, they were like, why did I even go there? So you want, as a creator, as someone that is, making a difference in the world, you want a channel, a platform that you can be able to communicate with the people in the right way without being shut down from all the noise and the algorithm that is taking you away.
Yeah, and that's why our Soltopiah guides are such a big, important part of Soltopiah, because these are the people as a coach myself, I have a lot of friends in the field, and It is very performative, and it is so hard when you are leading a soul driven business and you have so many tools that could support others, but you have to play the game of making yourself seen on social media. You spend all these hours making content only to just get a few likes and not really get the response you deserve. We wanted to create the Mindful Hub to be a space for people like that, to really spotlight that content, the uplifting content that tends to get lost in translation and distraction. And so we're really excited. And one more thing I want to add, which is a really big part of Soltopia, our Mindful Hub is going to have tools to support people in tech life balance. We are committed to educating people on phone addiction. We are committed in helping people better support themselves as we continue to merge with technology. It is literally always with us. And there was a time where we did not have a cell phone that had everything that we needed that we would carry all around. And we forget it was not that long ago. And so humanity as a whole
Yep.
has a lack of education on these things, and we are absolutely committed to helping people navigate that world.
I think it's really important that you guys are kind of getting ahead of the problem, because we're kind of in that territory right now where certainly parents are considering the fallout effects of social media on their children, and not only like socially, but mentally, physically, what's happening. But I think us adults kind of get a little bit of a pass for bad behavior for another 5 or so years after that, until the culture has really enveloped and been like, you know what, we all need to take a step back and really, what is this doing to us? Do we need to be on here this long? What's the purpose of this thing in the first place? And like, you went there to socialize, but how much socializing are you actually doing in real life now that you've got this thing in your hands? So I appreciate that you're bringing that to the forefront, while also acknowledging that we live in a life where information comes from this little thing right here. And to not only provide healing and support while acknowledging cell phone addictions being real, I think it's I think your approach is very based in reality, which I think is important for the long-term success of it, right? Because we can want to provide help for people, but if we're not acknowledging that part of the problem is the device that we're all receiving information on, I just love so much that, paired with the nervous system information and the different guides you'll have available to kind of walk them through whatever their particular point of focus is that they'd like to work on for healing, you're also giving them the autonomy to be in a community where people talk about phone addiction, where they talk about the dangers of social media, where they talk about putting down your mask to just be yourself. I think it's something that a lot of Fortune 500 companies would probably not want to touch with a 10-foot pole. And it does certainly seem like a mission that would need to be divinely led, because you're taking on a huge undertaking. But I know that it's going to succeed because it started from a place of love and needing to save your daughter from the ultimate, gosh, mental health crises, like physical ailments. Like, there's just so many things we don't know that are going to come as a result of our time spent online and the hours and hours a day that we are spending online. And just because of how you started, I have goosebumps right now. Like, I know the space is going to provide healing for so many, because there are honestly so many parents out there as well that are just lost as to what to do. They know that their kid could be a statistic and they don't really know where to start or what to do about it. And I think a number of people have tried to address the issue but didn't take into account the way in which our brain works, the way in which trauma enforces how our dopamine receptors work. And for most people, low level lying addictions are their devices, but namely their social media platforms. And to ask someone to just cold turkey quit that is very unrealistic. And I love so much that you're still providing an online space that they can just swoop, slide right over to. They still get to post. They still get to see people they admire and aspire to be like and enjoy the information they're presenting. it's almost like you have created a Soultopia online where we do get to engage in those nirvana moments that we can have when we join as a community of healers, people needing to be healed, and those who have been healed. It's just, you're creating a really beautiful ecosystem that I'm just so thankful for. And it's never been more needed than right now.
Yeah. And Sarah, I just want to also let you know that when Soltopia was created, before Soltopia, when we were talking about this, I was anti social media because I had that fear and the trauma, it had caused Neda. I just didn't even want to use the word social media. I said, we were like, what is Soltopia? It's a different way of social. I was like, I don't want it. The word social media, I want it out, right? But then as because I was traumatized as a parent, I almost lost my daughter, and God knows so many other parents that are on that path and they don't know what to do. And so I realized that technology is part of our life. Technology is part of our kids' life and generation, like to come, it's going to be part of their life. So we said, okay, what can we do to somehow change this in a way so that it dramatically, it's not going to say, okay, that's it, go cold turkey, and just like take a break and completely put it aside. You cannot do that. So we said, okay, let's transition it into something that is still fun. Technology was supposed to make our life better, easier, not for algorithm to take over and destroy our life. And I don't know, even with Facebook, there are so many things going on, and they were talking about how kids were committing suicide. And that's like, they were trying to change the algorithm, and they still haven't, even with all these issues. But again, we wanted to create something that was safe, so parents feel good about their kids being there. And then also kids feeling that they're part of a community. They're felt, they're heard, and they're not supposed to put a mask, be someone else or something else. And I feel like the traditional social media, don't get me wrong, is great for business. Great for business, but not for people that are going through mental health challenges. That is not a space for them. Okay. Or parents wanting their kids to, learn about technology, but they want them to be in a platform that is inspiring them, empowering them, not taking their power away, and that's really on the overall goal. And so
it's
yeah.
just such a beautiful mission. And I just love to know that your goal is to provide community and help individuals just know there's a space for them to just be themselves. I think there's so much work to be done, especially in America, on self-worth. I think it's something that if you don't get it very early on in life, it is a real battle later on to kind of not only come to know your level of self-love and self-worth that you have for yourself, but believe that you deserve more and that there's things you can do to bring more to yourself. I love so much that both of your professional backgrounds and your learnings and your teachings are just going to give you not only like instant trust of sorts, because there is something to be said about making something that you yourself needed a few years ago to help you on your path. It's almost like the pain and suffering that you guys went through as a family and individually, wasn't in vain. It did lead to this beautiful mission that is going to spare, hopefully, thousands of children and parents from having to get to the place where you were, Neda. And I, again, I'm not a parent, but I can't imagine what it would be like to feel like you're losing your child to something as fake as social media. That had to be just absolutely mind blowing to not at all grow up in that reality and it now be something you very much have to treat as reality, because for children, it is their reality. It is just such an interesting time of different vantage points all kind of melding into one and still having to navigate that because we're all suffering. All age groups are suffering from this time we spend online. But it is really interesting to see the both of you tackle the very different outcomes that the ills of social media can have on us, and to be able to both come from the point of view of a parent, come from the point of view of a tech person that's been in the industry and built businesses, and coming from the perspective of a young individual that had such heart and soul and had it taken from them, from something that, we should have a lot more protections on for younger individuals. I know it's coming in the future, but in the meantime, it's just such honorable work for the two of you to take this on and to do so with the goals that you have in mind for it. But I would love to know, what is your biggest wish for those that are going to start using Soltopia when you launch?
Will you go ahead first?
So actually, you know what? I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, I think I speak for both of us when I share this, but our biggest wish for everyone, not just people who join Soltopia, is to reclaim your power. A reclamation of power on all levels of being. I'm talking body, mind, soul. I'm talking knowing your worth, knowing what you deserve, and no longer allowing things outside of you to control how you show up in everyday life, how you treat yourself, and how you react. Rather, not reacting, but responding from a place of power, from a place of being centered, from a place of knowing your worth, knowing what you're capable of, knowing what you deserve. And for me, I really believe with all of my heart that the catalyst required to create a better humanity, a more unified, better world, is if we all reclaim our power. No longer giving our power away to algorithms that control us, no longer giving our power away to Hollywood movies and shows that are really created in a way to subliminally impress ideas and thoughts on us. What I really believe that people could benefit from is a space that helps them help themselves. And we always say, come to Soltopia to be empowered, to then empower others, because that is the way to a better world. And that is what we wanted to create for people, not for us to be there and give them the power all the time. It's for us to give them what they need to make it their own. And when you do that, it is always going to be with you, no matter where you go in life, no matter how you may stray and fall back into certain tendencies. When it's yours, you will always find your way back to it. And that is what we wish for people who come onto Soltopia.
Yeah. And I just feel like we are all powerful and we all have beautiful lights. But over time, it's like, there's so much noise, there's so much going on and chaos, and it's covering it up, right? And so all we're doing is giving them the right tool to get that out of the way and to truly know who they are from within, right? And clean all of that up. And, it's not, as Neda said, our intention is not like, hey, look, you need to follow me, then your life will be great. No, you need to find who you are, and then you'll know how great your life is and what you're missing out. And, at the end of the day, like when you look, we are, as humans, we experience this world, right? We come and we go. No one is here forever. So we make it so that, hey, for whatever reason you were here, if it was joy, if it was a mission driven purpose or whatever it was, you somehow lost it along the way. Let's get back on the track and move where you need to go. And it doesn't always feel like, oh, you need to be successful or make money. It's not all about that. At the end of the day, when you go or leave this world, what do you take with yourself? Nothing. You only take the experiences. You only take the love. You only take all of that. So really, you need to be able to reclaim that and have the power. You should not give it away to influencers. You should not give it away to religion. You should not give it away to anything that is out there and you feel like, oh, for me to get somewhere, I need to follow something or someone. No, everything is inside. Everything is within you. And just see what you're passionate about and just do it. Just every morning you wake up, just imagine it's your last day. What do you want to accomplish that day? Whether it's just going and hugging a tree, Sarah, it just as simple as that.
Yeah.
That could be a big mission. It doesn't have to be crazy. But, for me, the way my mission was that when, and again, I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing sometimes, when I close my eyes, when I meditate, I see pain and suffering. I see people, what they're going through, and I feel like it is, my mission to help and say, you don't have to suffer. You don't have to go through that. Look around you. You can see the beauty or you can see the suffering.
Yes.
So choose to see beauty. Yes. Choose to see healing. Choose to see light. And don't forget about all the fear, the news, and everything that is trying to create. At the end of the day, we're all going to go.
Yeah,
we're not going to be
what
here.
We focus on is perpetuated and we see more of in our life. It is important to acknowledge all of the chaos, destruction, and fear in this world, but it is equally important to not ruminate on it, to acknowledge it, see it for what it is, but spend most of your time practicing gratitude, focusing on the beauty and the light that's out there. And we really wanted to create a space on the digital world, online, that could help people do that.
Ugh, like I'm obsessed. I have so many goosebumps. So when and how can people join Soltopiah? You're not quite launched yet, but what's our date looking like, and how can they sign up?
Yes, we are set to be launching in fall of 2025. And for those who are interested in being notified immediately when we launch, you are free to look us up online, soltopiah.com, SOLTOPIAH.com, or visit our Instagram or TikTok and YouTube. We're on all of them, but preferred Instagram.
Which I'm gonna say I was completely against it, but I found out because what Neda explained to me made sense, because I'm saying, hey, we're telling everyone to get out of it. Why are we in there? And the way because I'm not on social media like at all, okay? But the way she explained it, she's like, listen, mom. Imagine someone is scrolling over and over again, and then all of a sudden they see our message and they're able to be pulled away to something better. And that's where you can grab them.
I would go.
And so, and then she convinced me, because I was absolutely against it. I was like, there's no way Soltopiah is going to have an account on Instagram or this and that.
We have to get our message out there. And so go ahead and follow us on Instagram if you're interested. We will be updating when we're launching. We're going to be putting some teaserettes out. We also have a lot of really uplifting educational content, just pauses in your day, or maybe some tools. We have it all, and we're only going to continue to evolve.
Yay, I love it. Okay, so I will put all of the links in the show notes. Sorry, is this the mailman? Literally, we're almost done. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, it's a school bus.
It's almost at the end, so that's great.
We've got one more question left. Sophie, you're really killing me today, girlfriend. And watch, right after this, she'll sleep silently for 6 hours, and I'll have to wake her up to go to the bathroom and be like, why? Okay. Okie dokie. So, my final question. Ladies, how do you make your life rich?
That's a very good question. I make my life rich through real connection, deep conversation, practicing gratitude, and prioritizing what is important to me in my day. which oftentimes tends to be being grounded in my body, feeling supported myself, whether that's nervous system regulation or a regular practice that can help me feel good, and really being in touch with my heart, feeling is so important to me, and it makes my life so rich when I look outside or when I have my hand outside of a moving car's window and I feel the wind blowing on my hand and I feel so alive. At the end of the day, I believe that's what spirituality really is, and that is what makes my life so rich.
So what makes my life rich is live in the present moment. So being in the present moment and enjoying every second, because I don't know if 2 seconds from now exists, right? So, and being able to enjoy that. And I know with the businesses that I had, or even creating Soltopia has been a lot of work, but Neda can, you know, witness it and tell you that I always say play hard, work hard and play hard. So do both of them together and being able to do that. But again, living in the present moment is the best thing that I do. That it's like, brings richness to my life.
Oh, I love it so much. Ladies, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'm so excited that I got to have this conversation with you. I cannot wait for Soultopia to come out. And guys, enjoy your summers. Get it in. Enjoy Instagram while it lasts for you because you're going to be so obsessed with your soul is going to be like, you know what? Soultopia is it. Delete that Instagram. You only need to be here now. I, for one, will be moving my butt over there. So we'll have all the links in the show notes. So you guys can start following them for now. Keep up to date with everything coming out. And we'd love to have you back when you are launched. It would be my pleasure.
Yes,
It
we
would
would
be
love
our
to.
pleasure. Yes.
I want to add one more thing before we say goodbye. First of all, I just also
Yeah.
want to say thank you on our behalf for listening and for being interested and curious with what we are creating with Soultopia. And I wanted to also share that if you have felt like you've wanted to help make a difference in this world and you have seen what's going on in today's news all over the world and you feel destabilized and frozen, unable to really do anything, Soultopia is your way of joining a movement that is really set to change the world. And by you joining and choosing to be a part of this and growing it, you are not only supporting yourself, but you're enabling us all to come together and unite for the betterment of humanity, for health, for being grounded in the heart, for the things that we have long forgotten because of how society and digital spaces are structured today. So it's not even about you, it's about the greater mission of making this world a better place, one person at a time.
Beautiful. Oh, we will end on that note. Ladies, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for following your guts and your hearts and bringing this to life. And thanks for thinking about every little detail. I can't wait to know what the surprises are, but we'll have to wait. So, fall 2025 it is. Until then, everyone, go click all the links, go see what they're doing. Your website is beautiful for just being a placeholder so far. So, I love it already. And we'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.